The best way to reverse parallel park behind a vehicle is by overshooting that vehicle slightly. Make sure that you check both opposite direction and the rear before you proceed reversing. Frequently check side mirrors and your rear view mirror because you have to intercept any moving objects such as pedestrians, cyclists, but most commonly traffic from behind. In a driving test in Australia, you shouldn't end up further than 30 centimeters from the curb. Don't position your vehicle for parking before the traffic from the opposite direction clears. The vehicle that you see in the distance with headlights on is turning, and it's far enough for us to get in the position for parking. The way you observe and how you manage your vehicle and how you manage your path and flow will determine whether you pass this section of a driving assessment. Side mirrors play a major role in determining the distance from the curb when you're parking behind the vehicle, especially when there's limited amount of space. Positioning a vehicle properly will make the process a lot easier, and your posture behind the wheel will facilitate a better observation, making your vehicle management throughout the process a lot more comfortable. Change your viewing angle frequently, at least every 2 seconds. Minor corrections will not represent automatic fail, so if you need to correct it, evaluate an approach angle and the distance correctly. Don't take too long to make corrections, and you probably won't even get marked down for it. The main benefit of overshooting a vehicle that you're parking behind is because you're going to have a much better viewing angle, especially if there's a limited amount of space, and also if you're driving in a little bit longer vehicle with a boot at the back rather than a hatchback. So you will never encounter an identical situation when you're driving a car, especially when you're reverse parking or reverse parallel parking. The initial approach is probably the most important part of the reverse parallel parking, because if you start a bit clumsy and if you're undecided in the beginning of the maneuver, the chances are that you're not going to do it right. The following are the must-be aware items. You've got to keep an eye on everything that's moving. Say, for example, if there's a cyclist, and if you can clearly see that the cyclist is going to go around you, leaving the safe distance, but you've got to understand that you've got to keep an eye on them, okay? So even if you have to say to the assessor, hey, I do see the cyclist, we've got enough space, I'm going to proceed. So don't be shy to say things. We had several reports that the assessor marks down for stopping when it's safe to proceed. When you finish reverse parallel parking maneuver and when the examiner wants you to drive off, make sure that you keep an eye on the cars that are coming from behind, because obviously if you parked or stopped on the side of the road, any oncoming traffic from behind will attempt to overtake you. You will have to let all oncoming traffic from behind pass you before you drive off. Be aware of the opposite direction as well, so you don't only focus on the rear, you've got to give way to the opposite direction too. A lot of driving test candidates fail by not giving way to opposite direction like in this situation. You've got to make sure that the last car passes before you can get around the car that's parked in front of you. If you're tempted to overtake a parked vehicle on the side of the road when there's a car coming from the opposite direction, that would be an immediate fail because the assessor would have to intervene. This rule is not applicable on multi-lane roads. What do you prefer? Do you prefer reverse parallel parking or bay parking? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Catch you next time.